It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh, let's review.
We'll analyze the scene.
Sounds holly jolly to me.
Before it's over, let's begin.
Bum.
Bum.
Yes, greetings, fellow Crystal Gem Seasons greetings. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to Seasonal Shenanigans. And Dragon, we're over the halfway mark. We've still got a few more of these to go. We've still got to go through one more round of our 4 categories, but we are going through the second of our 3 Christmas specials, and this is our annual Hypothetical Christmas special. Dragon, we did Gotham last year, right? That was for Seasonal Shenanigans.
Yes.
That's what I thought. I am very proud of the Gotham pitch I had, especially like the Riddler Enigma stuff that I thought kind of paid off with the actual show. So, Dragon, I gotta say, man, I'm proud of what I've come up with this hypothetical Christmas special for Steven Universe, but it's ballsy, it's risky. It's like I was like, okay, I'm gonna like basically take one of the show's big emotional trump cards and write a Christmas episode around it. So I kind of basically took like one of the big moments that we've been looking forward to and dreading at the same time emotionally, and was like, I have to take this card off the table because it just
Well, now I think I know what it is now.
I think you know what it is.
It's only one of 2 things, and the other one's kind of fatal, so I think you're doing the first thing.
The other one's kind of what?
Fatal.
Well, we'll see about. We'll see. Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But also, it should be noted that famously, Steven Universe has kind of been unofficially. It's kind of they've kind of sworn off like there are no holidays in Steven Universe. So, we saw with Jim Harvest. Jim Harvest like found a really interesting way to do Thanksgiving without actually saying the words Thanksgiving. And so,
Sure.
And recently, whether this counts as a Christmas episode or not, we kind of had again, maybe in the same vein, we had 3 Gems and a Baby, which involved giving of gifts, and it was set around like a big old winter blizzard and stuff. So they're kind of skirting by the holidays.
Well, I guess in that respect, yours kind of leans more closely into that role, and mine kind of breaks that rule a little bit, but it explains why specifically Christmas isn't in Steven's life and why Greg doesn't want Christmas in Steven's life. So right. I'll say that much about it.
Let's just say an overall mine, just cause right now I guess we're just covering kind of overall what ours are. So mine is, believe it or not, folks, again, I was just going to go full-blown Christmas because I figured, okay, it's like a hypothetical. It's like one's never going to happen. But then he kind of inadvertently guilted me into, you know what I'll do? I'll do one that's coalesced because we originally both were going to do like stuff abiding by the show rules. And then it's like, well, we just kind of switched that on to the complete opposite perspectives.
I know, it's ironic, right?
Yeah, but again, I was going to step out of my little box, and then it's just going to happen, and I have some familiar stuff in mind as well. Basically, mine is kind of a soft sequel to the 3 Gems and a Baby. It's winter, more winter than Christmas, with a lot of like subtle Christmas touches. Like Gem Harvest meets 3 Gems and a Baby, pretty much.
All right, so mine is kind of. It's both a direct sequel to Gem Harvest and then like maybe a direct prequel to 3 Gems and a Baby. So it kind of works like both ways with that. So, all right. So Dragon, do you want to go first? Should I go first?
You go first.
I go first. Okay. So, darn it, I still haven't come up with a name for this episode yet.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I forgot to name mine too.
I'll think of one by the end. How about that? We can both kind of.
And I'll see if I can come up with anything.
You know what? I'm just going to go with something, just kind of off the top of my head.
I have a working title. I don't really have a title.
Okay. My working title is Ugly Sweaters.
That's a good title.
Thank you. So, okay. So, Dragon, basically, there's going to be some kind of like working around the timeline and stuff here to fit it in. But essentially, this whole episode kind of revolves around Connie surprising Steven with his first Christmas because she kind of realizes, like living with the Gems and all that Steven doesn't know what Christmas is. And there's a big reason why Greg doesn't want Steven to know about Christmas that we'll get into with the with the flashbacks and everything. Let's just say that much. Let's just say Christmas is a very emotional time for Greg, and he doesn't really want to be reminded of it. But essentially, so Connie kind of ropes all the gems into helping her out with Christmas. Some get more into it than others. Like, Amethyst, she's trying her best. She's like wearing the ugly Christmas sweater and everything like that. But she's just kind of like, happy holidays. It's like, she's not really that into it. Pearl, on the other hand, Dragon. Pearl is incredibly into the Christmas spirit. She's just like, oh, I can't believe we never thought of this. A season all about giving. A day specifically all about. It's so nice. It's so wonderful, Connie. What a great thought, So Pearl is
so far so good.
All right. And then Amethyst, of course, is just all in it for the food. That's mostly all she can. She's like, oh, there's food involved? So Connie, basically there's, the temple is kind of like the living room of the temple is kind of decked out in Christmas. There's a tree and everything. But the tree is Garnet. Garnet is the tree.
Oh, God.
And she's got like branches, like, kind of taped onto her. And just for the line, hi, Steven. I'm a tree. And Connie has the explanation, like, well, all the Christmas trees were sold out. We couldn't find a good Christmas tree, so,
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm a tree, Steven. I was the willow! Okay, Peridot and Lapis are there. They're wearing matching ugly Christmas sweaters, and also the pumpkin dog is also wearing like a, one of those dog sweaters.
Aww.
And Pearl is slightly tipsy on the eggnog. I usually don't like human substances, but I've got to admit, this has a kick to it.
Oh, God.
Okay, so you ready? Oh, and also, Andy is Santa Claus. And Andy, what?
I haven't missed the Christmas explanation, have I?
No, you have not missed the Christmas.
Okay, guys, I just want to make sure. So Steven's in on these things, he's discovering Christmas for the first time.
Right. And Andy is like super into it. He's just like, I can't believe you schmucks never introduced my nephew to the best time of the year.
All right, okay.
So, and then Greg he's very quiet about it. He's trying to be a good sport about it, but you can kind of tell he's the one that's not really like into it.
And of course, Greg Universe is the jolliest guy around, so something's up with that.
Of course. Right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like in mine, kind of like you would think that Andy is usually the Scrooge type of character, but Greg is more of, he's not necessarily the Scrooge, but he's the guy that's not really in the spirit. And I'm going to have some really funny bits with Andy's take on Greg being a Scrooge, let's just say. So anyway, so you ready for my presents?
Yes.
Okay, so Connie gets him a remote controlled dog copter.
Yeah, I have dog copter in mine too.
All right. Andy essentially gets him like a knockoff cheapo version of Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
What's it called?
I don't know. I couldn't think of it. Ass kicking androids. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just saying, you don't give me a brilliant concept like a knockoff of Rock'em Sock'em Robots without a title. Come on, man.
Garnet, this is funny because essentially Warner Brothers is kind of like in cahoots with Cartoon Network. Pokemon airs on Cartoon Network, so why not? There's an N64 in Steven Universe and canon. Garnet gives Pokemon a copy of Pokemon Ruby. Garnet gives Steven a copy of Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
What
about like Pocket? Why don't you just call it like Pocketmon? So you're kind of like, it's kind of fun.
Okay, I'm down with that. Pocketmon Ruby, Pocketmon Sapphire. And then Lapis and Peridot give Steven just a bunch of crops that they harvested. All kind of decked out in like kind of a Christmassy bouquet. Okay. And then I couldn't really think of a gift from Amethyst, to tell you the truth. I had a hard time with that. So, I don't know. I kind of blanked on that one.
Well, I'm thinking something food related.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe just like
a cheese log or something.
How about just a gift certificate from the Big Donut?
I guess.
Fair enough. Anyways. So, like I said, Andy's kind of berating Greg about not introducing Steven to Christmas.
Hey, Greg, what's up? Why didn't you teach my little nephew there about Christmas? What's wrong with you?
This reminds me of the last time you ruined Christmas for the DeMeo family. And then Steven's like, are you going to tell a story? Andy's like, yeah, I'll tell you a story. So a long time ago, maybe about 14 years ago or so. Wait, is this story going to have a song? No, it's not going to have a song. What, are you freaking kidding me? What do you think this is, kid, a musical?
Yeah, that's funny.
I give you all the credit for that joke. I'm just simply taking what you gave me with that.
Yep.
Okay, so Dragon, I've got some pretty heavy DeMeo stuff. Now, here's the thing. I don't really have names for any of these characters or anything, but we're going to see kind of the extended DeMeo family, and we're going to see that the DeMeo family is falling apart. So one of the grandmothers is sick and kind of bedridden, and the aunt and uncle are kind of on the brink of divorce, and that's kind of... Dragon, do you know offhand the name of the aunt that, Greg was like, oh, now you care about the aunt?
I did, but now I don't. It's been a while since Gem Harvest, folks.
Yeah, let's just say that aunt and uncle, they're kind of like on the brink of divorce. They're having like real, like serious marriage problems. There's fights breaking out. It's essentially like a very Hard Knocks kind of real Christmas.
They're throwing plates at each other. It's really nice.
I mean, it's almost kind of like basically think of it as kind of like Susie and Oscar from Hey Arnold, except played a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, less like Susie.
Exactly.
Back.
And Andy is actually like really trying to keep up the Christmas spirit. Like he's like wearing a Santa hat and he's like kind of trying to mend fences with people. Greg is usually the one who's keeping the family together, but he's nowhere to be seen. A huge fight breaks out, and sure, we can have like some plate throwing involved there. And then one of the ants takes off. This is the ant that was mentioned in Gem Harvest that takes off. And then Greg gets back. He returns, and he's just kind of super bummed about, he's just, you can tell there's like a dark cloud over his head. And, okay, Dragon, this is probably one of the best gags I have. Are you ready? So It's basically Andy's interpretation of Greg as a Scrooge. And, okay, think of it as like the Michael Pena bit from Ant-Man where it's like, so then I ran into this guy, except it's basically like animation of Greg, but the voice of Andy, and basically like, oh, look at me, I'm Greg, I'm a big jerk, and I'm going to come in and ruin Christmas for everyone else. Hey! You like that?
Yeah.
I'm Greg Universe.
Well, in this case,
I'm a big rock star.
All right, so I'm just wondering if he'd know about Universe yet, because he would
Greg
like
Universe is his stage name.
Well, yeah, but I wonder if he knew about the Universe thing, because he learned about that in gym. I was like, hey, look, I'm Greg DeMeo.
Yeah, but I want to say that just kind of for the continuity purposes of this, Greg Universe is a stage name he uses, and the family...
I guess he doesn't know that was legally changed later on.
Exactly,
okay,
yeah, and the family knows about the Greg Universe stage name. They just don't approve of it. So,
all right.
Okay.
Greg Universe, I'm ruining everything.
I'm Greg Universe. I'm coming in and just ruining the whole show because I'm a big jerk.
Which usually is quite the opposite.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I'm really proud of that bit.
Okay, so what breaks us from this hilarious gag? I'm just like, I assume someone's going to say, okay, wait, that's not how it went at all. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Greg is kind of like, Greg steps in. He wants to tell his side of the story. The side of the story actually starts with a song that gets Steven onto his side. And it's a song about kind of like leading a double life on Christmas. Like basically like, I'll be home for Christmas. I want to be home for Christmas. But then there's this other thing going on the side. So we see kind of like Greg leading a bit of a double life, sneaking out to Beach City. He's hanging out with Rose, and then Vidala's kind of hanging out with a little baby sour cream. Vidalia, yeah. Kind of hanging out with baby sour cream on the side. Vidalia is kind of like the sister to Rose, you know, kind of like the logical kind of reasoning sister. Or I'm sorry, not to Rose, to Greg. To Greg, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, it's Bedalia, by the way. It's with a B.
Oh, really? I thought it was Vidalia.
You know, it's weird. It's kind of pronounced, sometimes pronounced Vidalia, but it's, I don't know, it's spelled, I've seen it spelled Bedalia.
I'm just going to go with Vidalia.
All right, fair enough. I'll say Bedalia in mine. It's
all right. So Rose is, you know, Beach City's kind of decked out in Christmas. We see a younger version of the Frymans versus the Pizza Family rivalry. Ronaldo's like a little kid. And I want to say that Ronaldo has like one of those spinny, like, you know, like the hats with like the spinny wheel on top. He's like a chubby little kid, like a chubby little 5-year-old with one of those hats. Anyways.
Except at the top, it's Fry. It's like a little Fry hat.
Oh, God. Maybe we see a quick shot, like a quick cameo of Frybo in a Santa suit.
You really? I don't know why you love Frybo so much. I'll never get that.
I don't even love Frybo. I just think like Frybo in a Santa suit would, like, not even like someone wearing the costume, like just the costume, like, you know, tucked away into a back corner or something. You know, just a quick shot. Just a quick shot. Anyways, there's no snow or anything because it's Beach City, you know, so we're not going to get the snow. This is kind of like a Rocket Power style, like Christmas in a non-Christmassy setting. But, you know, there are Christmas carolers and everything like that, and, you know, wreaths and stuff like that, you know, decorations, whatnot. There's a big palm tree in the middle of town square instead of a Christmas tree that's all decked out with lights.
Well, Rogue One inspired.
Well, no, just inspired by the fact that it's a beach. Come on now.
I know, I'm kidding.
I do love Rogue One, though. Anyways, so Rose is like, she's like got something on the tip of her tongue that she wants to tell Greg. I think you know what it is, Dragon, but but we'll kind of, you know, stretch it out for the audience. But she's really, you know, she's very nervous about it. You know, she doesn't really, you know, you can tell she's trying to tell him something, but you know, she can't quite get it out. Anyways, Vidalia or whatever the hell, she's, you know, she's kind of a voice of concern, and she really wants Greg to get back to his family. And this is an interesting kind of concept. Like, Rose can't really grasp the concept of family yet. She's like, well, Greg, you're enjoying all this time with me. Like, why would you possibly want to leave it? You know, it's like she can't really grasp the concept of other people, you know, like, even though she does have Pearl and she has the crystal gems, it's still kind of like a foreign concept to her. But Greg knows he should be back with the family, but he's just honestly kind of tired of cleaning up after the family's mess. And it's kind of leading up to a big kind of, you know, the big falling out with the family. And then there's a moment where Rose grabs Greg's hand, gazes into his eyes with a somber and reflective look, and they just kind of stare at each other longingly, but, you know, with a hint of sadness, as they look into the sunset. And that's the end of Act 1. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, so that's your act break. So okay.
Yeah, that's my act break. Yeah.
So Rose looks into Greg's eyes. They both kind of have reach of understanding. Look into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what they've reached an understanding that they want to stay with each other, and that Greg doesn't want to go back to his family. That's kind of
there you go.
That's reach. Yeah,
that's kind of, I was kind of lost a little before he said that. It's like, okay, well.
And also keep in mind, there's another thing that's looming over Rose's head, and like I said, I think you know what it is.
I have a good idea.
Yeah, but we'll kind of keep the audience.
I have an idea it's going to relate to a certain VHS tape we've seen before.
Possibly.
On a certain Emmy-nominated episode.
Right.
I don't mean just Freddie Highmore Emmy gags. I mean actual Emmy-nominated episode, by the way. We do love our Highmore Emmy.
I love the. We kind of retroactively are mentioning this, but I love the Norman Bates reference in Batman Returns.
Yeah.
If I tell you, you'll think, oh, I'm a Norman Bates or Ted Bundy type.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I guess my act 1 then.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of a title, here's some working titles. Tell me what you like better. I got maybe The Greatest Gift or Present.
I like Present because that could have a double meaning to it.
Well, we'll see. You tell me at the end which sounds better.
And I think I'm officially going to go with Ugly Sweaters for my title.
I like that. So, here, okay, let's see. Okay, so Act 1. We start with the visual of snow falling, up close and fuzzy. Fuzzy being key and all this, by the way. It's all kind of fuzzy visual. It's really up close and stuff. We really play with the visuals in this one. We then see Steven in a parka, kind of, he's kind of traveling through the snow. It's like, beautiful, snow falling and all that. Just kind of braving the snowstorm. A little bit in the first image of the episode, it's kind of an homage to the rabbit in the snowstorm from Daredevil, by the way. Just like it's like all white at first, with kind of the fuzziness. It's like it's a white screen at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little personal pull there, like, hey, rabbit in the snowstorm, yeah. So we push through. We push through the fuzzy white snow, and as we kind of, from points we know Steven's kind of going through this, but then we cut back to our kind of our visual we started with, from our POV as the audience, it's Steven's POV, and we see the white fuzziness. It's nothing but white. Then we start to get some pink in there. It starts to be white and pink, and of course, who's white and pink? Rose quartz. So you see white and pink, but it's not just white and pink. There's also a little bit of red in there. So as we get closer and closer, Steven gets closer. As the snow calms, we cut back to Steven, like, he's getting close, and we see it's revealed what he's seeing is Rose and Greg having fun having fun. The snow calms as he gets closer, because now he's like out of like kind of the braving the snow. Now it's back to just kind of falling kind of nicely. We then see Rose and Greg having fun building a snow Steven. They're building a snow Steven, like a snowman. Building the snow Steven. Steven is surprised and happy, like, oh right, yeah, hey, it's the two of them. He's confused, but he doesn't care. It's like, oh my god, it's my mother and father. All right. We see Greg and Rose. They wave to Steven, all happy and go lucky, like they're calling Steven over, like, hey Steve, hey Stewball, come on, join us. Join them, having fun in the snow. A happy Steven eagerly moves over. He makes his way over. He's kind of stepping into the snow. It's kind of some deep snow. He's getting closer and closer. He's a few steps away from Rose. He's almost there. Bear in mind, the boy's never had a chance to interact with his mother. He's only been seeing her in the past tense, so to speak. So the snow is starting to slow him down. He's getting closer and closer. His gem then starts to glow. He's so close to Rose, he's like his hand's almost touching her hand, and then he's bubbled suddenly.
Ooh.
He's in the pink bubble from the bubbled episode. He's then bubbled. He's then bubbled, and he's unable to. Again, he's so close he can almost touch her. He's then bubbled right before he can do that. He's unable to be heard as he's calling out from the inside, like, help! We hear him we're inside the bubble with him. He's saying, help! Someone, please get me out of here! And we see from the outside that they can't hear him. And they're just going back to their business, just having fun. And the bubble starts to track back, starts to go back. Again, we just went all this way to there. Now it's like it's retracting back, and it's going backwards and backwards and backwards. Steven frantically, as he's pounding on the thing, he's begging for help to escape. Help, get me out of here, please. He's calling for his mom. We then see just the friendly couple just kind of, they wave, the friendly parents, they wave to Steven like, oh, hey, buddy, as they were greeting him just now. Like going in reverse almost. Like, they're waving to him, and they continue to play in the snow without Steven. We have like a quick insert of Steven's eyes, like a tear starting to form in the corners of them, as we tend to see on Steven Universe. Things start to fade to white as we hear hauntingly from Rose Quartz, bye, Steven. Steven then wakes up.
Oh god, that's great.
He looks out the window, no snow. He then checks his gem. Then he looks really sad, just as the memory of like, he's just really bummed out over the dream. He was so close to. What I'm really getting at with this whole episode, with this dream, it's really about to be hit upon the next scene, is that Steven is like, we've spent so much time now as establishing, Steven, he is obviously he's not just the son of Rose Quartz, he is part Rose Quartz, which means it's never been the three of them. By definition, it's never been the three of them. It's always been just kind of Steven and Greg, or Greg and Rose. It's like the one image this boy's never had of the nuclear family. It's never been the mother, father, and son. So he's always still never been in the same plane as Rose. It's kind of eaten away at him on some level.
Right.
So it's kind of like a physicalized version of the whole, like, he'll never have a mother in a way, because he is somewhat his mother. He's kind of looking at the downside to that interesting relationship we have with Steven Universe. That the interesting kind of concept of Steven Universe. So. Next morning, it's breakfast. So we cut from that really kind of harsh, again, unfortunately, folks, it's another dream sequence. I know, but it was really good. I couldn't.
Really?
I had to put it in there, but I thought it made sense because Steven, we've had dream powers with Steven, so it's kind of.
All right, go ahead.
So the point is that is all of that stuff. At least it was. I hoped it was entertaining. I hope it was kind of haunting.
No, it was good. It was good. Yeah, it for sure.
So then it's breakfast next morning. Garnet has coffee in the paper. Pearl is making Steven some breakfast. She's serving breakfast to everyone too, but she's also cooking for Steven. Greg is chowing down on some waffles, possibly. Amethyst is watching Crying Breakfast Friends. It's like a little fun transition of like, okay, we just had a really haunting nightmare sequence, and now Amethyst is watching like Crying Breakfast Friends as Steven walks in the door.
Oh, God.
So Steven enters. He's greeted by the room. Steven, almost like a Norm thing. Norm. Steven, Pearl is very adorable. Again, kind of my model for Pearl is kind of Norma Bates, just kind of in terms of cuteness level. Just pretty much, it's kind of like, okay, let me put Pearl in comparison to Norma Bates here. So, Pearl is very.
They
very
should have
adorable.
Vera Farmiga as like another DeMeo family member, like maybe like Andy's sister or something like that.
Oh God, yes. So Pearl very adorably offers Steven a together breakfast, knowing
yes, I approve. That's
she's
great.
basically saying, "Well, I figured now that we're all here, I figured I'd give you a together breakfast. What do you think?" Just like it's the cutest mom bit ever, just saying like, it's just I made this together breakfast. Remember, basically she's remembering episodes back. There's a lot of little fan servicey touches here and there.
Oh, remember the together breakfast? I'm sorry. Go.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
I'm talking about Pearl and Farmiga here. Don't undercut me with that. So Steven then turns it.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So again, importantly, Pearl's really being really adorable there. She's offering together breakfast, and Steven's he's kind of, it's kind of hard to describe it. Steven's kind of turning it down, very like, he's not upset. He's not like in tears or anything. He's just like really kind of like, nah, he's affected by the nightmare. You get what I'm going for here, right? He's affected by the nightmare. So he's like he's not hungry. He's like, turns it down. He's not really that hungry. And this is much the Pearl's confusing because Pearl knows Steven loves together breakfast. Steven asks Greg if his mother, if mom likes snow, if she likes snow and it like that. Basically, if the two of them played in the snow, which we know it has snowed in Beach City before, again, the blizzard and stuff. So, it can snow in Beach City. So, it's not, maybe not, it's kind of a rare thing, but it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pearl reacts to this. Of course, the mentioning of Rose always kind of catches Pearl's ear. So, the point is, Pearl is in this scene, like, again, she's like behind the counter where Greg's like on the counter talking to Steven during and all this. So, she overhears, like, the whole room kind of hears the conversation, but especially Pearl. Garnet, through all this, peers over the paper at the talk of this as well. So again, Garnet is listening too. Greg reveals that he and Rose love to play in the snow, and he's asking, "Oh yeah, we had tons of fun in the snow. Why?" Steven reveals he had a very Steven reveals in a very detached way. He had a dream about it. Basically, he describes the dream. He wasn't able to join them. He was bubbled and then kind of whisked away.
Mm.
And the room's kind of asking, is he? Greg's asking. I'm trying to think if it's better if it's Pearl or Greg asks. I think Pearl asked if he's okay, and then Steven, Steven just shakes it off as if it was a weird dream. It's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. It was a weird dream. Amethyst offers to watch some Crying Breakfast Friends. Says Amethyst is like the worst gag. Like, hey, you want to watch something that's gonna make it even more sad? Yeah, no, I'm just gonna go over the Connies. I'm gonna go see Connie today. I'll see you guys. Bye. He leaves. A little moment of pause goes by, and then Amethyst again. So my running gag in this is Amethyst just has like the worst timing. It's hilarious. Amethyst asks, "Can I eat us together breakfast?" And they'll just like, Amethyst. Just eat together breakfast, and then we cut to later in the day. So the point is, everyone's kind of affected. They're saying, okay, something's affecting Steven. We got to do something about this kind of vibe going through the room. Later, we see Pearl is cooking up a storm. She's baking star cookies, really nice, basically in the shape of Steven's star. She's baking star cookies. She's baking all sorts of tons of cookies. Greg walks in the room. He's asking why. Oh, gee, what are all the cookies for, Pearl? What you making? You're baking up a storm here. She says, oh, it's to cheer up Steven because she knows. Basically, she says. Well, it's to cheer up Steven. I know how remembering the lack of Rose can. I'm paraphrasing, never mind. Remembering the lack of Rose can can make you feel. Uh, Yeah, basically, as she's kind of, as far as the memory of Rose goes, I know how it can feel when you don't have we don't have Rose around. We've all been there, especially Pearl, because Pearl has a very deep connection with Rose, of course. So she's feeling Steven's pain most definitely. She's trying to what makes her feel better. Well, let's distract him a little bit as far as the memory goes. So then she turns back after talking to Greg. She finds that all the cookies are gone.
Oh no!
Amethyst has eaten the last one. Pearl is enraged. Amethyst, and she's saying, "What? Those were for Steven. All of them? Yes." Garnet had one. Then we reveal Garnet's eating the last bite of a cookie in the corners. She pauses for a moment. "I'm sorry, they were very good." Then Greg mediates before Pearl starts to snap and beat the rest of them senseless. It's just kind of Greg's running things. He's kind of the voice of reason. He's kind of pacifying Pearl. Says really, it's a Pearl Greg episode for the most part.
Sure.
So Greg's just trying to reassure Pearl here, saying, "Look, Pearl, the cookies were nice, but I'm not sure that they would have worked anyway." Pearl admits Greg's right. He says, "Yeah, I think you're right. It would have been temporary relief anyway. Wouldn't have helped as much as I thought it would." Connie drops by for training with Pearl. And he says, "Oh, Connie, hello, welcome. Come in." He says, "Yeah, I'm here for a training session." And Pearl mentions she's asking where's Steven. I heard she heard earlier on Steven was going to hang out with her. So Connie mentions, "Oh yeah, Steven says he's going to visit Peridot and Lapis." At some point, Amethyst notices Connie's got a new bag for training stuff. Says, "Oh, where'd you get the new bag?" Says, "Oh yeah, it's I got it this morning at the mall. They're having the big winter sale." Little Black Friday gag. It's kind of a cross between Black Friday and kind of the big Christmas. So again, I wanted to intimate Christmas as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The big winter sale, quote unquote. This gives Pearl an idea. There's a lot of scenes in this where it's I've got an idea. So Pearl has an idea. Then she frantically, very excitedly, in a very Norma Bates-like fashion, she cancels the lesson and says, "Oh, Connie, listen, we'll reschedule. I got stuff to do." She grabs Greg and she grabs Greg to go shopping for Steven, but also she has no money, so she absolutely needs Greg to go. So, "Well, why do you need me?" "Well, I need to know what Steven would like, and also I have no money." And they leave, and that's the end of Act 1.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. Okay, so
I didn't lose you on any of that, did I?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Yours might be a little more simple than mine because, like I said, I'm getting pretty ambitious with my flashbacks and everything. But all right, let's get into it. So, Act 2. Greg and Andy are going back and forth about the different versions of Greg skipping out on responsibilities to see Rose. The gag about Andy voicing and lip syncing Greg continues "Oh, look at me. I'm just going to come in for 5 minutes and then leave again because I don't give a crap about my family. I'm Greg Universe."
Then the actual Greg comes in.
The actual Greg is just it's a very somber thing because he doesn't want to leave his family, especially the grandmother that's dying and bedridden and everything. But he's really torn up about the whole situation. Now, Vidalia is kind of the one who's, like I said, kind of the voice of reason about leaving his family. But there is a reason that Greg isn't. There is a reason why Greg is gravitating more and more towards Rose and the gems and less towards the DeMeo side of his family. But he's very reluctant to talk about it. So we see Greg and Rose taking in some carolers. And now Rose, Dragon, I want to mention at this point, Greg does not know that Rose is going to die. Greg, at this point, is just very confused about why Rose is so somber about the idea of having a kid. It is revealed that they're going to have a baby in dialogue here, kind of just kind of like an offhand reveal, not making a huge deal out of it. You know what I mean? Just kind of well, why are you so, why are you so sad, Rose? It's we're going to have a baby together. It's it's a beautiful thing. And now Rose is somber about the whole thing, and Greg assumes it's because Rose kind of doesn't understand human nature and whatnot, and it's kind of a gem thing that she's confused about the situation. We don't know yet that, the whole, basically she's going to turn into Steven, essentially.
Yep.
And then we get an explanation from Connie, like Steven's essentially, wait a minute. If I was born around Christmas, Connie, then why didn't you tell me about Christmas last year when we celebrated my birthday? Just because I wanted to ride around that plot hole. And essentially Connie was like, well, Steven, I mean, there was a lot going on your last birthday. You know, it's like you were aging and we thought you were going to like age out of time. And it was very scary. And, you know, it's like, so a lot was going on, Steven. You know, it's like I figured I'd take it slow. So anyways, back to the story. So Greg is trying to talk to Rose. Like I said, Rose is being very quiet. She appreciates Greg being there, but the whole scene is very somber. And then meanwhile, back at the DeMeo side of the family, Andy kind of breaks in with his story. And, you know, we don't get the jokey Andy. We get the serious side of the family. Like, and meanwhile, I was back with the dying grandma. And we actually do see a very powerful scene where the grandma actually does die. And Andy's by her bedside, and Greg is not there. And then Greg comes in, and oh god, Dragon, I am kind of stealing this from it's from Better Call Saul.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm stealing this from Better Call Saul, where the grandma's asking
Mama McGill, you're taking Mama McGill.
Yeah, the grandma's asking for Greg, even though Andy's the one who's actually there, and Andy's the one who's putting in time. You know, so Greg's kind of like the slacker who still gets all the love, and Andy's kind of like the gruff guy who doesn't get the love. So, yeah, I admit I'm totally stealing that from Better Call Saul.
Knew it the minute I heard Ailing Grandmother. I knew it was good. I knew it. I knew you were taking Mama McGill. I was going to make a joke about it, but I thought, nah, I can't be going that direction. Come on, that won't be silly.
Okay, so Greg and Andy... Greg comes in shortly after, and it results in basically a very explosive fight, you know, like very almost coming to blows with each other. They're so mad at each other. You know, Greg is just very stressed out about Rose being so somber and cryptic about the situation with the baby. And then Greg, you know, Andy is like, he's simultaneously pissed off about the grandma asking for Greg and pissed off that Greg wasn't there in her dying moments. So it's just a very, very heated exchange, which basically leads to Greg completely abandoning the family. Because like we said, I'm kind of like tying it into the gem harvest thing. And then we also see Greg close to the, close to closing time, kind of coming in at the last minute, legally changing his last name to Universe. And then last scene of my act 2. My act 2 is the shortest scene of my 2 acts. He's sitting with Rose, and he proposes to her. And he proposes to her specifically because he had his name legally changed to Universe. He doesn't want his baby or Rose associated with the DeMeos. He's fed up with the DeMeos, specifically through Andy's side, who just kind of like verbally berated him and everything like that. And I'm gonna have like a whole Bart Simpson. In The Simpsons, there's this classic moment where Marge is like, "Are you happy, Bart? You've ruined Thanksgiving," and it's like a very cutting thing that she regrets later. I'm gonna have like, Andy, like one of the things that really sets Greg off is you've ruined Christmas. So, anyways. So Greg is kind of like, he's like, I'm done with that side of my family, and you met me as Greg Universe. You know me as Greg Universe. That's what I want you to marry me as. And Rose, she's very polite about it. She's very touched by the gesture, but she can't marry him.
What?
She can't marry him.
Why?
Because she's going to die.
All right.
And she reveals that to him.
Oh.
And that's the moment where it's revealed that, Greg, I can't marry you because I don't want you to have... I don't know. Dragon, help me out here. I like the song.
Well, I love this. I love the idea of this scene, by the way. I really love that, Greg, he's proposing to her under like the universe name that she came to know. She wore the Mr. Universe t-shirt. I love that.
And that's the explanation for why he legally changed his name. That's the emotional motivation for that. Yeah. So I'm glad you like that.
I love the proposal scene so far. You gotta save it for me at the end here. What do you got? For
like I said, I kind of took it as like Rose wouldn't want to actually marry him because she doesn't like. First of all, marriage means nothing to her because it's not a gem tradition; it's a human tradition. So, it would more confuse her than anything else. And she mostly just kind of wants to focus on the time that she has left with him. And even if it's like a quick ceremony, it's like she doesn't want the hassle. She doesn't want the strings attached. She just wants the emotional simplicity of Greg being there for her as she's, essentially in her last days. So do you like that? Is that a good explanation for why she doesn't technically marry him?
Well, kind of. I mean, it depends how are you going to save this in some way coming up?
What do you mean save it?
You are going to have her like eventually say yes to marrying him, right?
I honestly thought it was more somber and tragic if he never actually did marry her.
I was thinking more of a sweet way of ending that, but well, I was thinking maybe you go the route of, man, I like that stuff, like the rationale of like, what's the point if I'm going to die anyway?
And like I said, marriage means nothing to her. She likes the emotional simplicity of just him being there for her.
True. I mean, yeah, it's being there for it. I don't know. I kind of was hoping that Greg Hughes was going to sweeten it by some way of just saying, like, because if he somehow related it to be like, she loves the experience. I'm reluctant,
and I'm just trying to be a dick about it and make it as sad as possible, honestly.
Part of me is just thinking that here's the reason I'm kind of a stickler on it. I'm a stickler on it because Rose in that video, in the VHS tape, when she says to the cameras, like, she loves the experience of being human. If Greg somehow sweetened it by connecting it that way, of like, this is why we should get married. We don't need a big ceremony. Like, we'll get a do like the what's the thing called with the priest? It's the ordained minister. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be good. Who would be a good ordained minister?
I've got a way to work it into my third act.
All right. You sure? I mean, it's your thing. I mean, I can just you don't have to end it that.
You have a good point about Rose kind of realizing the value of humans and everything. You make a good point there.
Plus, it's like a last thing for her. It's like the last romantic gesture between her and Greg. I'm saying it'd be a really nice thing,
Okay, I've got it. I know a way to work it into my third act. So,
because again, don't get me wrong. I mean, you don't need like for her to be Steven's mom. You don't need it to be married, but it's just the idea of like universe is what brought them together. Having her with the universe name is kind of a meaningful thing.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay,
and that is the end of my act 2. Kind of, it's just the dramatic reveal of like, I can't marry you because marriage means nothing to me, and I just want you to be there for me. That'd make it more simple for me.
Man, mine's a lot happier than I thought it was.
I
opened pretty somber. I mean, I opened pretty somber, right?
Yeah.
I think, well, bye, Stephen. I pulled a little bit from All Dogs Go to Heaven on that, and I thought that was pretty effective, right? Not crazy.
No, it was. But I told you, man, it was my mission to make this as sad as possible. All right.
I'm kind of going for like it's loss around the holidays. I mean, that's coming through okay, right?
Yeah, it is.
Boy lost his mother around the holidays, and there's no way of getting her back. Quite literally.
I hear you.
All right. Okay. I guess we'll go through mine. I have a happy emotional stuff in mind. Okay. All right. I mean,
I have some happy emotional stuff at the end. Don't get me wrong. I've still got the Pearl Hallmark moment that I'm holding on to.
Okay, so you haven't even gotten them. I have also a Pearl Hallmark moment. So I hope ours aren't too similar. By the way, because I warned you, mine's predicated on some Pearl moments.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so Act 2 for me. Act 2 for me is a lot of fun stuff in Act 2. Honestly. I think Act 3 is the big emotional heavy hitter. Act 2 is like a lot of the fun seasonal stuff. Mm-hmm. So Act 2, okay. So we see Stevens visiting Peridot and Lapis on the farm. He's greeted by the pumpkin dog because I really love that freaking pumpkin dog. I really do.
You can have the pumpkin dog wearing a Christmas sweater if you want. I'll let you take that.
Well, I actually have Peridot. They're all wearing sweaters. Actually, that's what I kind of. I didn't think about the pumpkin dog, but sure, let's throw that in there. They're all wearing holiday sweaters. Like basically snow. Importantly, they're snow related sweaters because the idea here, their storyline, basically the whole thing breaks down to 2 stories.
Mhm.
It's the story of Steven's nightmare, which involves which then is Greg and Pearl going shopping to cheer Steven up, and the other story is this story here, where it's what Steven's doing in the thing, where Steven is uh, the Paradigm Lapis tells Steven they're trying to create snow because during the Three Gems and Baby episode we saw, they were they kind of missed out on the blizzard because they were a little lost as to what it was. They were kind of freaked out by it, so they stayed inside. Mainly Paradox, just being freaked out by the snow. Because remember, we saw how freaked out she was by the rain.
Mhm.
So Paradise really is really intrigued by the snow on second glance, and she really wants to see it again. But it's been ages since it snowed again. It's like time has passed, and now it's still not snowing right now. I want to make that very clear. Right now, it's cold, but it's not snowing. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, so Paradachi's really fascinated by snow, and that's why they're wearing the sweaters and everything. Just they're really they're trying to make it snow using Lapis's power because she can control the water, make it rain and stuff. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to use Lapis's powers to create it. But so far it's just been a lot of rain. That's as far as they've gotten with it. A lot of rain. So Steven, with snow on his mind from the dream sequence, of course. Again, snow is kind of the running big wintry thing through all this. Again, kind of rose and I forgot to mention in that dream sequence that Greg, he was wearing the Cherry Man sweater, by the way.
Nice.
So again, so it's Greg wearing the cherry sweater and Rose, the two of them playing the snow, making the snow Steven, all that sort of stuff. The importance of the story is that Steven has snow in the brain because it's part of him. It kind of symbolizes him thinking of his mother as having the perfect picture of his family that he is unable to join in on. So it's affecting him, and he because of this on some level he wants to assist them. But aside from that, he just wants to assist them anyway. Importantly, because Steven's a nice guy. He's like we love Steven. He's one of really nice guys. He's been very selfless through the whole series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very important. So first thing to help Matt, he says we need clouds first. He has an idea. We need clouds. We're gonna come back to those guys and say, side stories again. So it's Paradigm Lap is trying to make it snow. Meanwhile, we cut back to our other store. We're in the mall. Pearl and Greg go shopping at the crowded mall. They're shopping at the crowded mall, and Pearl wants to instantly, again, it's very Norma Bates this moment, but also this feels very Pearl-esque too. It's Pearl wants to get Steven something. Pearl wants to get Steven something to cheer him up, so the first thing she goes to is like this really, really cutesy stuff. So she's just like Pearl would, Pearl would do this. It's like she sees like a sailor suit or like a bunny outfit, the kind of homage Christmas story. Says, oh my God, look how cute this is! And, Steven would like this, wouldn't he? And then Greg's like, oh God, no, it's horrible. So Greg kind of directs her off of that and says, you know what, maybe we should look at some other ideas. Then we have a montage.
Okay.
With montage, we see kind of a lot of holiday movie homages here, by the way. So again, that was kind of a Christmas story homage with the cutesy bunny suit. We see like they're trying like dog copters sold out like Turbo Man. It's the big hot seller this year. So remote controlled dog copters are sold out. The Nintendo games, there's like a mile long line. Like it's impossible to get in there. We then see Pearl is pulling out the spear from her head and getting ready to battle a lady over a scarf for Steve, and then Greg is kind of meeting. And then we just cut to after all that holiday craziness. We just see her at the food court, just kind of taking a breather. Like Pearl's like, oh boy, it's exhausting. And Pearl feels very discouraged. She feels useless. Which of course, Pearl, her whole designated purpose as a gem is to help people. And it's kind of her thing. She's the assistant. She serves Rose.
Sure,
She's very
sure.
So if Pearl can't help people, it's pretty much like be our guest, like a servant who's not serving feels really depressed. So she feels useless. She's kind of airing out her frustration to Greg. I mean, humans shop like crazy, and I can't even get one gift. What gives? I can't. And importantly, Pearl's kind of voicing a human thing here, where she's saying, I can't give Steven a part of Rose because he is part of Rose. Greg, that's really the big frustrating. I can't find the perfect gift because Rose would be the perfect gift for him, but I can't give him to him because he is, and also kind of addressing kind of the fun absurdity of the boy is his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's so much like Bates Motel when you say it out of context.
Oh God, stop it!
Seriously, when you say it out of context like that, just
out of context. Keyword out of context.
Out of context, okay, out of context. Sorry. Anyway, so Greg gives some very nice sage-like advice. He gives some very sage-like advice here. He says, not in the Greg universe vernacular, but what he's communicating here is look, Pearl, no gift will compare to Rose in any way. Believe me, I know. No gift's going to compare to what Rose is or was or always is. It's our job to find something to remind him that he's not alone without her. It's kind of nice, right?
Yeah, I like it.
So the point is, we got some really little nice scene with Greg and Pearl. Just kind of Greg is saying, "Hey, Pearl, don't give up. We got to find the perfect thing. We're going to do that." Then we have the popular kids wander by because I just love this interaction. Importantly, I want the popular kid to greet Pearl.
They're the most popular. They're the most polite popular kids in the world.
Yeah, so they're just walking by. They've been doing some shopping again. It's kind of the idea. The mall. Everyone from beach cities are at the mall because of this big winter sale, and they're just kind of going by. And then it's Buck, Jenny, and Sour Cream. So they're walking by and they greet Pearl because they remember Pearl from Jenny remembers Pearl from the whole pizza, the fish stew pizza kind of volleyball game. And I figured they think Pearl's cool. Like, oh, hey, Pearl, how's it going? Oh, hello.
Pearl is cool. Of course, Pearl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we know, and Greg notices, oh yeah, hey guys, cool. They have designs on their jackets, purses, and headphones. Sour cream headphones.
Oh god.
they all have designs on them, and Greg notices this because Greg appreciates good art and good album covers and stuff.
Right.
They mention that. Oh yeah, you like this? Yeah, we got it from the new kiosk in the mall. You guys should go check it out. It's sweet. There's no lines or anything. You guys really got to check it out. And they kind of shrug their shoulders. Nah, sure, why not? We've struck it everywhere else. Maybe this is something. So you go to the kiosk. Go to this new kiosk in the mall. And this kiosk has paintings and T-shirts and bags with art painted and airbrushed on. So the idea is either it's pre-painted or kind of ironed on, or very importantly, it's airbrush. The airbrushing process, of course. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be something very grounded, but also something kind of cool and kind of airbrushing. It feels kind of down to earth like Steven Universe can be. So
yeah, I like it.
So it's revealed that the owner, the person that runs this kiosk, is Bedalia.
Okay, nice.
Bedalia, because the idea is she's selling art on the side during the winter sale to make some extra cash around the not the holidays, but making some extra cash around the winter time. So we also see there's a fun little there's a fun little Easter egg of Yellowtail painted like Santa Claus because he has the beard. So basically, it's Yellowtail wearing red, so he looks exactly like Santa Claus without actually being Santa Claus. Get it?
I like that.
And she mentions, oh yeah, hi Greg. Oh yeah, this little thing I do earn some extra cash. Crash around the winter sale. Also, I got some new airbrushing supplies. Yeah, just having some fun with it. Look at some of the stuff I made. And then we see the Yellowtail cameo. And Pearl likes it. She's looking at it. She's like, oh, wow, this looks really nice.
Uh-huh.
And Greg suggests, hey, Pearl, maybe this for Steven, huh? But what to design? What to put on it? And then Rose... and Pearl gets an idea. You know where it's going. Pearl gets an idea, but you'll see what the specifics are. I'm sorry. It's pretty obvious, though.
Yeah.
Pearl gets an idea, what to put on. And then Pearl gets I have an idea, Greg. Then we cut back to Steven's story. There's little 2 bits here, and then we'll end that too. As that unsuccessfully, they gather clouds or form a bunch of clouds that creates nothing but rain. It's all rain down on Peridot and stuff. No, it's still not working. Try thinking cold thoughts. So it's still water, and we see that. We then see it's not a montage necessarily. It's 3 little attempts of we kind of little white pans. We pan from this to we pan to the next idea and the next idea. So it's just rain falling down. Then we see Lapis then holds the water in midair, just freezes in midair, but it's not frozen. It's psychokinetically in place in midair. You know what I mean? It's not falling.
Yeah.
And again, it's close to snow. It's looking like snow, but still not. It's still not the same thing. And we see the sad pumpkin And then Steven says, "You know what we need? We need a snack break. I'll be right back, guys." So then we go to the Big Donut. We go to the Big Donut. Steven is greeted by Sadie, and the place is bustling. It's about to be definitely more bustling, but Sadie offers Steven, "Oh, hey, Steven, they're a little swamped right now. You want to help yourself with some free fruit." Not free, just as a sample. I mean, you want to try the new fruitcake donut?
Mm-hmm.
The fruitcake donut or the eggnog milkshake? Says, oh yeah, sure. And then Lars, for all the people who are going to want the eggnog milkshakes, he spills a giant jug of eggnog all over the place. He slips and falls, and he's knocking everything. It's a big mess. It's a big old mess. So this causes a big mess. Steven helps clean it up, but also take care of the various customers that are being held up because of this. Because now it's gathering, and the crowds are building. Mr. Smiley's in line. He's complaining very vehemently. Hey, I'm trying to get my fruitcake donut on. So they really swamped Steven. See this, and the importance of all this is showing Steven is a very giving person. He's a very nice guy. He's helping out, and they're in a bind, and he does. He doesn't need the help now. He just needs help to clean up the mess, and he's also helping because remember, it's kind of a callback to when he was the unofficial employee of the Big Donut. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So he puts on the shirt. Old good memories. Puts on the shirt. He's helping out. He's helping them. Then we see after they take care of the customers and everything, the end of it all, Steven is told, "Oh yeah, Steven, before you, thanks a lot, Steven. Before you go, I forgot to tell you about this. We got, I guess I'll tell you about it first. Well, that everyone's gone. We have cookie cats again." And not just, now here's the thing. This is a personal thing from my real life, by the way. So it's not just cookie cats. So here's the gag. Okay. Cookie cats, really? He says, "Yeah, look at him." He opens it up. Says, "Yeah," and he looks in the bottom right corner. And he sees a new. He's like, new and improved.
Oh no!
Let's just say, I enjoy a good popsicle, Tiki, and I hate the new and improved ones because they taste too fruity. I hate it when they do new and improved. I just put a little personal thing in there. It's like cookie cats.
I like it.
So Steve would just be like, "Oh, it's not the same."
My personal experience with that is Trix.
I
used to really like the Trix cereal when it was actually shaped like fruit, and then the second they shaped it like generic like balls, I'm just like, you ruined it. You ruined the gimmick. You ruined the gimmick.
They do that now.
It was that Trix was shaped like fruit, and you ruined it. Thanks, Trix. I will never buy you again.
You're serious? They don't have them in the shape of fruit anymore?
No, they're literally just like little spears, like Cocoa Puffs or something.
That is ridiculous.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? I don't believe it.
It's so disappointing.
I think they were pigeonholed by Lucky Charms. I just think they were too scared of Lucky Charms.
God. Anyways.
Wait, do Lucky Charms still have the shapes?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah.
Wait, how can they not have the shapes?
Right.
Anyway, off of new and improved. Importantly, Steven says, new and improved. Oh well. Yeah, but he gets an idea. Again, a lot of ideas. I don't know what his second act is full of ideas. I don't know what to tell you. It says, "Wait a minute, I got an idea." He runs off. He buys it. He grabs a bunch of them. He runs off as, "Thanks, Sadie." And then she says, "You're welcome." It's really nice, but she kind of the cookie cats gave him an idea. He bought a bunch of cookie cats and he's running off. End of Act 2.
Gotcha. All right. Drake, I got to say, I am really liking yours. I think yours is definitely like emotionally, it's got some good emotional stuff in it. It's just like, I'm glad that yours is kind of more traditional, like Christmas feel good kind of stuff. And mine is kind of more emotionally brutal. Like, oh, you want sad? I'll give you sad.
I want to say mine's more Happy Days where yours is Elf.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
I'm more like we get our sad shots of the Fonz alone, but you have, of course, poor Tiffany.
So speaking of sad, oh God, poor Tiffany. Oh
poor
no,
Tiffany. Hey, don't laugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's awful. Oh God.
Remember, Tiffany's a real girl, Tiki. Come on.
Oh God, I know that makes it worse.
I still don't know if it's the actress. I think I can't. For life, I still don't know.
Anyways.
Anyway, off of morbid subjects, back to other morbid subjects. Act 3.
Reference, yeah. So, off of the morbid stuff and into more morbid stuff, Dragon, because I got to tell you, my Act 3 is basically like the first 15 minutes of Up.
Oh, boy.
So, I've got like one light bit at the beginning of Act 3 just to break up the seriousness, and then it's just basically like sadness.
Tell me it's a happy Pearl bit. Tell me it's a happy Pearl bit.
There is a happy Pearl bit coming up, but it's a little later on. It's a little later on.
Okay. What you got?
Okay, so things are getting really emotional in the present day. Steven's kind of putting the pieces together about why Greg never told him about Christmas. And then Connie kind of like genuinely asks Greg how Steven's never heard of Christmas. And then we get a little bit of a comedic kind of like flashback montage of Greg taking Steven around Beach City throughout the holiday season, like as he's kind of getting older. And like, Steven's like asking like, what is that? Like what's like pointing out like the wreath and the ornaments and the trees and stuff. And Greg's like, oh, I don't know, stew ball, just Beach City and they're crazy. It's just, I don't know. It's not really done too well. It's not the most well thought out gag, but
I don't know. I'm buying you halfway, Tiki. I'm buying you halfway of Greg having a fun like montage of excuses, like, oh well, that's it's like he's like some sort of like
like look, I didn't have time to like really write lines for this, but you know what I'm kind of going for, just like Greg coming up with a bunch of like ridiculous excuses for for Christmassy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know it's not the best bit, but anyways, so yeah, so now we get into the, grab your inside out tissues, folks. It's gonna get emotional. Oh god. All right, so back to the story. We see Pearl basically really angry at Greg, kind of going off at the ramifications of of Rose being pregnant and everything, and like that she'll cease to exist. Like Pearl is at this point just fuming at him.
Remember, folks, he was really anti-Greg before all the Mr. Greg episode,
which is gonna make my my Pearl Hallmark moment all the more special. But anyways, so Rose is bedridden, and Greg is of course by her side. He's wearing a very sad and pathetic looking Santa hat. And the Santa hat is drooping in a way that it kind of looks like a sad face on top of Greg's head.
Oh, God. So, are you sure you found a little happy moments here and there in this? Are you sure? Because it sounds a lot like the Santa hat's about to cry, and Amethyst is going to let out a guttural, no!
It's sad. So, anyways, here is kind of a nice, genuine moment, though. Amethyst and Garnet are very supportive of Greg. They're like Pearl is kind of like sulking in the corner. She still isn't on board, but Amethyst and Garnet, like they've been on Greg's side since the beginning. Of course, Amethyst and Greg kind of have a little bit of a brother-sister dynamic going on. Whereas Garnet is kind of like, she's fascinated by Greg in a way too, and she kind of more respects Greg than anything else.
Yeah.
Like she kind of sees the, the joy that Greg brings into Rose's life, and she's supportive of that. And so we just have a little bit of a moment where it's like, you guys, I gave up my family to be here and to see Rose through this all. And I'm so glad I did this because I don't care about, and I don't want to say like I don't care about my family because my family's crap, but it's a complicated relationship at home. Like this is my family, and Rose, I'm glad I get to be here with you for as long as you last, and I'm glad that I get you guys in my life, even you, Pearl. And Pearl's just like, she kind of waves him off, but he's trying to reach out to her even then. It's like, Pearl, I'm even glad that I have you. And so it's a sweet message. And then this is where, Dragon, I'm going to kind of write in your whole marriage idea where Rose is seeing this. She finally kind of gets the value of family, and she's like, Greg, you're right. I want to marry you before I leave. Because I see the value of family, and I want to take that with me. And so, who's yours? What?
A little happiness in there finally. Yeah. Okay.
So who's the ordained minister, Dragon? Say it with me. Garnet!
Oh.
I don't know. I
didn't know you was your pitch. I didn't know who the ordained
She fits the role.
I was thinking it was going to be Mr. Smiley for a moment. Okay. I don't know.
No, Garnet is the ordained minister.
No.
Because I'm a minister on 40 different homeworld bases. I don't know.
Okay. Garnet is a minister.
Yeah. And so they get married, and I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Universe.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, like, basically right after, though, Rose knows it's time.
Oh, boy.
And she's kind of fading in and out, and she's like, Greg, grab the camcorder. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Grab the camcorder.
Well, Tiki, or you're not making it the same message, are you?
I am making it the same message.
But you can't make it the same message, Tiki.
Why?
that was set on a beach, and that was like, it was before the delivery. It was like way earlier.
Well, they go out on the beach, and it is technically before the delivery.
All right, okay.
Like, she knows it's almost time, and that's why she doesn't have much time left.
All right, you're making it sound like she's like in the bed already. Okay, I got you now. You're fine.
No, she gets her strength to get out of bed, just for the time being, to go out on the beach and record the video. All right. All right. So she records the video. We don't even see the video being recorded. We just kind of like, it's implied that that's what happens. And then, oh boy, here we go. So the gems are gathered around Rose, the gems and Greg. It's kind of like a visual homage to the ending of Snow White with, them gathered around the glass casket, where they're kind of like kneeling around Rose's bed and crying. And Rose is kind of like fading in and out, right? She's like kind of like fading, like like she's fading in and out. And, and Greg is just like holding her hand, and it's super emotional. And Pearl is she's just a mess. She's like, she's trying to hold on to Rose, but at the same time, she's still super pissed off at Greg for the whole situation. So she's just a mess of emotions. And then it happens. She fades out. Baby Steven appears in her place. Greg takes Baby Steven in his arms, and he throws his pathetic Santa hat into the fireplace.
It's a big blinding pink light of when she fades from the full-grown Rose to the little baby Steven.
Exactly. Yeah, right, for sure.
I like the Santa hat. Then he throws a Santa hat.
Yeah, and that fades out in present day. Greg is very somberly reflecting on the whole thing, and he's like, and that's why I couldn't celebrate Christmas, because it's just too painful this time of year. I can't bring myself to it. And Steven, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. I missed out, and I want to make it up to you. And everyone else has brought gifts, and we're all exchanging gifts, and I have nothing. I don't have any presents for any of you. I'm just a big screw up. And then, okay, here's my Hallmark Pearl moment. Dragon, you ready for it? You ready for it? I don't think you're ready for it.
Wow, me.
Okay, so we pan over to Pearl.
Yeah.
Pearl has freaking, like, tears streaming in her eyes, Oh, Greg. She takes a bow off of one of the presents.
Oh, God.
She puts the bow on his chest.
Oh, jeez.
You're my present this year.
Oh, you stole that from Nostalgia.
Yes, I did.
Come on. You had me going there for you stole that from
It's adorable, and it works better in context here than it does in that commercial, god damn it. But just to pay homage to that commercial, we cut to Garnet sipping a cup of coffee.
Okay, we're getting there.
No, look, I think it works because, like I said, it's kind of paying homage to that commercial, but at the same time, I genuinely think, like, there's no hint of incest or anything like that, okay? Like, I'm trying to take something that's kind of ridiculous and actually make it emotional. All right?
All right. Yeah.
Oh, Greg, you're my present this year. So then, Greg then reveals, actually, I do have something that could be a present. And, oh god, Dragon, this is like the saddest frickin' thing in the universe. Pun intended. So Greg reveals that he has an additional videotape of Rose.
Okay.
And this is Rose on her deathbed.
Ooh.
As she's fading out. Like, she's fading out and fading in. And she's very quietly singing Silent Night.
Ooh.
Very quietly, almost in a whisper. Oh, God. And she's fading in, fading out. It's like basically like one of her last moments. And then we see, Connie and Steven hold hands, not in kind of a romantic way.
In the more supportive friend way.
Exactly. Right. And then Greg and Pearl exchange looks, and they actually have a big hug with each other. And Peridot is getting comedically emotional, and then Lapis kind of like dryly hands her a tissue.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we see is Greg and Andy making up. Andy kind of officially welcomes Greg back into the DeMeo family, and Greg officially welcomes Andy into the Universe family. And the ending shot is Rose singing sleep in heavenly peace as reflected in Steven's eye.
Not bad.
And then the star fade out into Steven's eye. All right, and that's it. Oh God, I'm getting
It's not
emotional just
bad.
thinking about it. I don't know, just the idea of like Rose singing Silent Night in one of her last moments is just Okay, so that's it.
Okay, Act 3 for me. Here we go. So, we pick up from where Act 2 left off. Steven bought all the cookie cats. Act 3. Lapis.
Yours is a lot more upbeat. Just that sentence alone. It's like, all right, now we're happy. Now we're in happier times. Okay.
So Lapis takes a bite of the cookie cat. She starts to eat some of the new and improved cookie cats.
Right.
And she kind of gets a chill, and like a little bit of cold breath comes from her. Peridot, I don't get it. She just doesn't get it all. Like, what are we doing? He's just saying, how is this going to get us snow? He's like, wait a minute, Perry. So then, the cool, we get this really, 1 second here. Basically, it's this thing where she gets the cool feeling from the ice cream and the little cold breath we just got. The idea is that that cold feeling along with the joy of the cookie cat ice cream. Because remember, joy does have kind of a thing with gems, as we saw. It's ice cream, yeah. It's kind of joy mixed with mostly the coldness of the ice cream. Kind of gives her a sense of what the cold. Basically, so she can replicate that same cold feeling into her powers. That's kind of the pseudo power science of it all, which this allows her to first freeze the water. So now she's able to freeze water, make some ice stuff, and then she kind of elevates that power. She starts to create. We see the progression. She starts to freeze water in like a bucket or something. Then she uses that water to create ice sculptures. Really nice little. She makes the little pumpkin dog into an ice sculpture, and then she's making it. Then she makes it snow. She's able to make it snow now, powered by cookie cats.
Oh God!
Much to Peridot's delight. Yeah. Oh my God! Lapis, this is amazing. Keep doing it. Keep eating. And they play in the snow with the pumpkin dog, and everyone's happy. Everyone's all happy. Steven looks up, kind of proud. He's very reserved in the corner, just saying. He looks up, like smile on his face, like proud, like, yeah, we made it snow. It's like, because in some way, it's like he made it snow, and in some way, it's like that's like his accomplishment. Of like, hey, you know what? It's kind of the closest I'm gonna get to that dream of snow I had. I made something happen. I'm making two people love enjoyment. It's like the enjoyment from that dream I had, and I'm part of it too. It's kind of the closest he's getting to that feeling,
Sure.
He's remembering the dream. It's all kind of communicated, kind of subtly in a look of like, yeah, I made that happen. And it's a very slight hint of his. Well, it's also it's showing like again he's being very giving. He's very he helped these guys out. He's even helping a lot of people. He's making a lot of people very happy. He's just showing a lot of kindness from Steven here. So let's see. So then the next bit is Garnet is drinking hot cocoa, and Steven is also drinking his hot cocoa. They're both drinking hot cocoa together. I don't know what it is. I think both of our pictures we just like seeing Garnet drink stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So before Steven so like a moment of pause goes by, and like you get a sense of okay, so Steven, things are mulling over his mind since that snow scene. Now in the scene with Garnet, just kind of like a little fun moment of like pause of like they're both drinking. Like you get a sense Steven definitely wants to ask Garnet something. So. Before Steven can start to ask Garnet something, because of the future vision, of course, Garnet just fires into this really heartwarming speech. So to have two really big inside out. I have 2 to 3 really big inside out moments here. So you're gonna need some. This third act's the emotional one. So Garnet just fires in this really heartwarming speech. Just kind of like cuts him off, saying, again, mostly I'm going to paraphrase this, but I have a few lines here. I guess that she goes into this speech about, Rose loved snow. She was amazed by it, and loved how it changed its form. And how humans loved it, because the idea is the snow changes much like humans do, and much like gems can't really do without using their powers. It was kind of like it's a natural phenomenon on Earth that that humans have that gems didn't really have on Homeworld. Rose was very giving. We see this echoes the ending of Bubble, by the way, of Garnet telling Steven some stuff about Rose. It's kind of the feeling I'm going for here. So Rose was very giving, but her greatest gift was you, Steven. Even if she wasn't around to see it, she knows because she's. Let's see if she's around. Even if she wasn't around to see it, she knows because she's with you always, and that bond not even fusion can measure up to. And basically, with all of that, kind of, it's the holiday reference to that is like it's kind of the giving of yourself message of like Steven is very much the whole series has been a giver. He's always been he's been helping people out. He's been a very nice guy, and I figure it's like we kind of make reference to the fact he and Rose, they've been, as it's been referenced in Bubble, of like Rose did what was best for everyone else before she did anything for herself. That kind of gave me the idea from Bubble, like they could do kind of the giving of yourself message with that.
Right.
So I kind of had Garnet kind of exposit that in like a really kind of meaningful way, and it's like the most meaningful thing I can think of, like saying like, well, I'm not saying it's like she's saying fusion is inferior to like what she has there. It's different, and it's also really special in that even fusions will they'll, without so much in dialogue, I suppose. Maybe she says it, I don't know. But the point is like Garnet is communicating that fusion, as great a thing, very special thing as fusion is, fusion isn't exactly permanent. It's like people will defuse at times. Where the thing Steven has, well, that's never going to happen with him. He's always going to be a part of his mother. It's like a bond that's a really beautiful thing. And then like a moment of pause goes by, and just like it's a really meaningful thing. It's just been said, of course. And then he says, "Let's get some more marshmallows." Gotta eat some more marshmallows, and Amethyst has them. Amethyst has them, and she's making s'mores.
Oh God, of course.
But then this is interrupted as she sees, oh wow, it's snowing outside. And here's a beautiful shot. We see it's snowing outside, but only on the beach, only on the gym temple. It's snowing.
Nice.
So as Lapis, it's revealed as they go outside, they kind of peek outside, peek through the window. It's Lapis making all the snow above them. It's like snow clouds above them. Paradox is surprise. Just like a little. She had the idea of like, let's make it snow around the play and stuff. Amethyst, she shapeshifts. She runs out there. She shapeshifts into a snowman. Says, "Oh wow! Now I know why these things are popular." Mm-hmm. Basically, she's shapeshifting the snowman just for the feel of it, just like it's a little fun, cutesy image. Steven calls Connie over. Oh, I gotta call Connie. She can play in the snow. He calls Connie over to enjoy the snow. So she's making her way over during all the stuff coming up here. Pearl and Greg return. Greg is amazed by the snow because you gotta remember, Greg and Rose had that special thing with the snow. So Greg is kind of touched by, oh boy, snow. He gets an enjoyment out of it.
Right.
So he goes outside and he gets into it. He's going outside. He's kind of frolicking. He's kind of frolicking with Garnet and Amethyst, just having fun out there. Meanwhile, Pearl. Oh boy, here, get ready, Tiki.
Okay, I'm ready.
So Pearl stops Steven before he leaves. He's getting the boots on and the galoshes and all. Because I would assume Pearl's kind of trained Steven to put on galoshes when he goes out in the snow at this point. So Pearl stops Steven for a bit, just before he leaves, to give him this gift. Give him a gift here, the thing she's been getting. So it's revealed that she gives him an airbrushed painting of that dream that he described to him. But it has a happier ending though. It's Greg, Steven. It's Greg, Rose, and right next to Rose is Steven. It's all three of them put together, and it's in that little blur. It's in that blurry airbrush style, like it's white and pink mixed together. It's a really kind of expressionistic kind of. It looks blurry like the dream. Get it?
Yeah.
And they're all playing together in the snow, like maybe with the Steven Snowman in the corner. I don't know. It looks really, really nice. And then we have this one. Here's the Hallmark one here. It's like, I know it's not. Oh, Steven, I know it's not the same as being with her, but this is what it looks like, though. Basically, it's saying like this may not be the same feeling as being with her, but this is what it would look like. It's not like it goes by. Steven's really kind of affected by this, and as he's processing this, she says. If you don't, but I understand if you don't like it. If you don't like it, I have something they call a receipt thing here.
Oh my God.
And that basically, before she can even finish, like talking about like taking the receipt back, I love the self-deprecating Pearl. Like, Pearl, you did good, Pearl. And we have Steven just cuts her off in between that by rushing to her with a really moving hug. Just giving her a big old hug, and she's all tight. It's all really nice. And Pearl asks, then she looks up, is that snow? How? And then he says, "Cookie Cat." What? just doesn't matter, Pearl. Let's go. And they'll go outside. The subtle thing I'm kind of saying here is that Pearl is kind of filling in for Rose playing in the snow here on some level. It's kind of the idea. Right. The closest person to Rose was Pearl. And in a way, it's Pearl, Rose, and it's Pearl, Rose, and Greg in a way coming up. So then they all go outside. She's kind of dragged along into the fun, and then we just cut to this fun little this wintry kind of segment here where Steven and Connie, they're sledding down like a hill of snow on Steven's shield. Pearl is building a snow Steven just like in the dream. Amethyst transformed. Amethyst transforms into the snowman here. Forget the part earlier. Here's where she transforms into the snowman. Just like, man, I don't know why is everyone building snowmen? And she transforms. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Little Three Gems and a Baby reference though.
Mm-hmm.
Peridot makes a snow lapis with like ice wings. And then we see Lapis makes an entirely a really far superior giant ice Peridot. Just to show how good she is with her powers. Garnet has constructed an even bigger snow castle, which is awesome looking. And then it evolves into like a fun snowball fight. They're all having fun, like they're all having the best of fun. Here's the tissues for the last moment here. Here's the ending of the thing. I'm really proud of this ending. I was really proud of the beginning. I'm really proud of this ending. It's the last shot. It's nighttime. It's nighttime. Steven is in bed. He looks up at the hanged, at the hung on the wall airbrushed portrait. He looks up at it. He smiles. Closes his eyes as he goes to sleep. We see the visual, all of this in one shot. We see the snow falling outside. And then as we pan out, as we kind of track back like the bubble did in that nightmare. Rose's gem glows warm. Glows in a warm fashion. And the subtle thing, by the way, with all it's kind of a fun little thing, is that the thing I'm suggesting here is that the reason for all of this, that it's not explained here, but maybe in the future how we would connect the student universe, is that Rose is communicating to Steven. That's why all of this dream is happening. She's communicating to him from the gem. That's why it's glowing at the end there. It's kind of Rose saying, "Hey, I'm with you," but he doesn't know it.
That's heavy. That's heavy, Doc.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Not a lot of death in it, but you know.
No, not as much like, like crippling, like emotional, stuff that'll require therapy for years on Greg's part. Nothing like that.
That was pretty nice, though.
Yeah, no, okay, so final thoughts on mine, I guess. Dragon, like I said, I'm glad that yours and I's are kind of totally tonally different, even though we both kind of explore the loss of Greg and everything else. We explore the loss from Greg's end and everything in yours, but mine is just like, like I said, I was kind of more I'll give you credit. I think yours is more of a Christmas special than mine is.
And oddly enough, mine does not say Christmas at all.
But yours feels more Christmas though, because of all, like the holiday mall shopping. Like yours basically has more Christmas tropes in it than mine does, essentially.
Yeah.
In a good way.
So bizarre and reversed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Whereas with mine, like I said, I was more kind of focused on the emotions, and it's almost it's almost, kind of like a reversal, like I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing track of my thought here.
Reversal of
oh shit, I got all derailed there, sorry. Oh god, I'm sorry.
Reversal of
I don't know. Oh god.
Okay, so how do you feel about them, Tiki? How do you feel about yours?
I'm sorry, I lost. Bleh. This is bad.
Well, I liked bits in yours. I mean, they're really good bits in yours. And the most part I like is I think some of the logic stuff might need to be ironed out a little, just a little. But again, it's not really anything that takes.
Like I said, the logic stuff I mostly kind of like wrote around in terms of like, well, I can make kind of some fun comedy bits out of the logic stuff.
Yeah.
Which is how the show does kind of like write around some logic stuff anyways, is making comedy out of it. So
yeah. I think you did a gutsy move in that we kind of know it's going to be overwritten because, well, I mean, overwritten may be strong, but I mean, I think what's going to happen is probably going to, I hope, is going to be the way yours is that it's going to be, when we do see the loss of Rose, it will be kind of like a big blinding pink light and like they're all kind of around her or something. Then Steven's left. So I hope they're going to have something like that, but we know we're going to see that moment. So you decide to tie it into the Christmas thing, which, don't get me wrong, I think works for the special, but it's kind of like a thing where we're tying a huge thing we know is going to happen to something that's very, very seasonal. It's always kind of a big move. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know what I was getting at. with mine, not the reverse, but it's almost kind of like an anti-Christmas special in a way,
Mm.
because it's all about Greg's kind of pessimism about the holidays, and it really isn't until the very end that we get the whole kind of like heartwarming moment of everyone coming together for the holidays. So yeah, in a way, that's kind of like how I wrote it as. It's essentially like kind of like explaining the lack of Christmas in Stephen's life. So there is Christmas elements in it, but I almost kind of use Christmas as like kind of like a storytelling device. More is kind of like concentrated on the Christmas tropes, like you more so did. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I got so derailed in that. I was just like, wait. So
I don't want to sound like just self-serving, but I also like the whole marriage thing. Like, it's like Garnet as Mr. Garnet. It's really nice. I tell you, my favorite moment from your pitch, though, I don't want to say it just because I helped bring it up. I just love the whole. I would now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Universe. I love that bit.
But I'm really glad that you enjoyed the Greg changing his name, that whole scene, because I thought that was a little bit of a risk on my part to tie it into Rose's proposal. So I'm glad you liked that, and it made sense.
I mean, I loved all the Greg Rose stuff because so that the relationship's kind of a biggie. It's always going to do really powerful stuff with that.
Do you like how I kind of explained the kind of crumbling of the DeMeo family?
The crumbling DeMeo family is interesting. I liked it, and I like that idea of like focusing on that. I don't know if I tying into the death of a relative. I mean, it was played well. I'm just not sure how we feel about that. It's just like kind of like.
Honestly, that is kind of like one of the cop-out things I wrote in, just to have like a big blow-up moment between Andy and Greg. So that was like kind of an easy like writery thing on my end.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think what I would have done. I'm not saying what you did was wrong there. I'm saying what I would have done is I would have just tied it into really the divide being it's around Christmas. Greg made the decision to sever his ties, which he did. But I'm just saying maybe not tied around the. We kind of have a pseudo death with Rose, so we don't need an actual death as well. It's kind of too much death.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but when I say pseudo death, it's kind of a transformation more than a death, but technically it is a death. I don't know. Again, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of not a mixed bag in that it's not good. It's a beautiful thing. It's just I love they poke fun at that all the time. Steve Universe said, "Yeah, it's kind of a screwed up family."
Sure.
The boy is kind of his mother, but he's kind of not.
Oh God. Okay, but yeah, that's about all I have to say. Any last words on your end?
Well, what did you? Anything else in particular you liked in mine a lot?
Well, like I said, I like how you use the Christmas tropes, but you used it in a way where Christmas isn't really directly referenced. The cookie cat bit is great. That's like a great bit of fan service for sure. And yeah, I like the whole the new and improved is definitely a relatable bit. Dragon, I gotta say, it is one of your strongest dream sequences, in my opinion. I really liked your opening.
I still think if you heard that Jim Gordon pitch, you would have loved the Atheist. I thought that one was the best one. I'm still very proud of that Jim Gordon pitch, but apparently, darn you distractions.
No, but I'm just saying, I still really liked yours. I like the idea of tying it into, the whole, I thought it was beautiful the way you tied Pearl in, where Pearl is kind of the mother figure and Steven kind of comes to terms with that. That was really well handled. So, altogether yours was really good. It's just, like I said, mine was, I kind of had this, like the Pixar sad factory,
I think I had some heartwarming Hallmark stuff.
You had heartwarming Hallmark stuff. I had like straight up like Shakespearean tragedy stuff.
Again, it all came about, the whole pitch. I was wondering, what the heck am I going to do? Because at first what it was going to be was just going to be, okay, it's going to be Stephen teaching Peridot and Lapis about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And basically there was going to be some line explaining like why we haven't seen Christmas before. Like just saying, oh yeah, well, there's been Christmas. Yeah, we just haven't really spent time on it.
Sure.
It was something like that. Basically saying, yeah, there's been Christmas episodes we just never shown them on Steven Universe somehow. Just to have some sort of line like that. But then once we were kind of kicking around the ideas, the image that kind of spun the whole thing was that dream sequence. And again, believe me, I would have tried to avoid it, but I just thought. Well, honestly, the other big thing is, so I mentioned what the alternate pitch was, is that it was going to be Stephen teaching about Christmas. I always had that Garnet scene at the end was always there from the beginning, but the way it was going to work was going to be Garnet as the reading in a big kind of chair. She was going to be like kind of breaking the fourth wall and telling the audience the story. She was going to be the framing device. And the way it was going to go somehow, I didn't know how. They kind of simplified it for this one. So basically, the way it's going to go is that Garnet was the whole, as a framing device, is going to set the whole story was like a what if, like it was future vision. Like she looked into the future. This is a possible outcome. Steven has a nightmare, and then we see what may or may not have transpired. And then at the end, it was going to be like Garnet's about to console Steven, the emotional scene we saw, and then we just got to wonder for ourselves, like, I'm sorry, not console Steven. It was going to end with like Steven waking up, so we have to wonder now, the audience, like, what would happen? See how convoluted that got, so I quickly scrapped that idea. So I went back to the dream idea of like, yeah, I'm feeling white and pink. I want rose in the imagery. I want it to be all fuzzy and snow, like we need snow for not doing Christmas.
Sure.
Sorry, then I don't mean to go on long. I'm just the intro and then the outros, the endings kind of came into focus from that. Yep. Like, okay, we got to end it like a warm gem glow. We got to end it there.
And like I said, with me, it's like I kind of early on had the whole thing like I kind of ironically, Dragon, you and I started like from a similar position of the whole idea of like, why doesn't Steven know about Christmas? Why doesn't Steven celebrate Christmas? And then, I gotta say, like, obviously, Gem Harvest was a really big kind of pivotal stepping stone for this episode for me. All the Andy stuff and everything like that, and Greg of Andy, like, obviously, like, that was just what was so fun about writing mine for me, was kind of like, I almost felt like, granted, I was a little inspired by Rogue One as well, kind of like tying all these plot points together, like, oh, and here's, like, especially like the videotape, like, oh, and here's what's going to lead into this moment. Oh my God, but
I kind of pulled a Rogue One myself. I pulled all the little cameos and references from I pulled the blue milk reference.
Oh God. Right. So
that's the only spoiler you'll get from Rogue One. There is blue milk. I won't tell you where.
All right. So I'd say that's about it, Dragon.
Well, let's peek beneath the wrapping paper for a moment.
Gotcha. So we're going to circle back around to animated stuff, and we're going to be talking about, last year we talked about Prep and Landing, and this year we're going to be talking about the sequel, Prep and Landing, Naughty versus Nice.
Yes.
Or is it Naughty and Nice, or Naughty versus
I think it's Naughty versus Nice. It's either, I think it's Naughty versus Nice, and we'll find out. So, well, kids, time to dash away.
It's Naughty versus Nice.
Well, kids, time to dash away. All, but as we wave goodbye, don't you cry. We'll be back again next time
for even more seasonal shenanigans.
Fa la 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 and Pearl.
I was the Willow.